Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today, we are going to be working on something that I am super excited about. In the last couple of videos, we have been working on smaller projects, like these buildings here, the market stalls over here, or this underground river here. But yesterday, I woke up and decided it was time to build something big. And not just because it's episode number 40, but because I find the big builds just a lot more fun to work on. So I spent about 8 hours yesterday designing a building that I think is going to fit into our city and make a great addition. And where are we going to build it? Right over here. So far in our city, we have built a bamboo farm in this corner, a cactus farm in this corner, and another tree farm in this corner. And at long last, we are going to be building a farm in this corner. And what kind of farm are we going to be building over here? Well, we are going to be building a moss farm, which, if I'm being honest, is a farm I should have built much earlier, because I use moss all over the place. I use moss in my road, there's moss in these hedges, and there's moss in these rock formations. And yes, 2 out of those 3 were not the actual moss blocks, but moss is much easier to use to craft them than the alternative, which would mean collecting a bunch of vines. And a video of me shearing a bunch of vines sounds a lot less exciting than a video of me making a massive moss farm. Try saying that 10 times fast. Making a massive moss farm, making a massive moss farm, making a massive moss. I'm getting distracted. We need to get started with this project. To build the farm over here, we are going to need to do a little bit of work on the terrain to make it level with the rest of the area, as well as make sure we have enough space, because this lake cuts in a little bit to where I want to build the farm. So let's get some materials together and get started with the terrain. So I now have everything gathered up to be able to work on the terrain, and it's just a matter of getting it laid out here and then filling it in. In order to have this farm lined up with the other ones, we need to be on this block right here. So I'm going to build up a cobblestone pillar just so that I know exactly where that center point is. And then we can start building up the terrain around it. Along this stone line right here, this is how far the land needs to come out to be able to hold the build. And keep in mind, this is just the right half. The left half is going to extend that much further in that direction too. I was being serious when I said this is going to be a massive build. So now we need to plan out how to connect up this terrain here with that area over there. And let's just get some stone blocks placed and see how it will look. So you can start to see a little bit of the plan here, but these trees are all in the way. I think I'm going to go ahead and clear them out now. That way I can have a much better idea of what I'm doing. With the trees all cleared out, you can see the space that we are working with. I've also finished outlining where I want the terrain to go, so now it's just a matter of filling it in, which is much easier said than done, because we first have to go through and place in a bunch of torches, then add in a layer of stone, and then cover the stone in a layer of grass. And after about 2 hours of placing stone and grass blocks, we end up with this nice little floating landscape, which we now need to connect to the ground. So I've gone through a couple of different ideas of how we can connect up this platform up here where we're going to build the building and the ground. And one idea that I think might look pretty good is if we place in a bunch of stone like this, and then we just add a moss block and then bone meal it. And let's see what will happen if we go through and convert all of the stone to moss blocks. With the stone blocks converted over to the moss blocks, I think this is looking pretty good, especially because we've got the mossy cobblestone mixed in there so that it's not all just moss, and we've got a nice variation. Let's get the rest done. Once again, it took about 2 hours, but this platform is now connected to the ground on this side and over on this side too. But now that we have the site all prepared and ready to go, it's time to get the resources gathered up. And there are going to be a lot of resources required, like 20,000 blocks worth. I'm hoping that we have most of the resources in our storage room already, so that there's not too much that need to be gathered up. For this build, we are going to need all of the deep slate block, dark prismarine, sea lanterns, crimson stem, warped stem, spruce wood, oak wood, dark oak wood, cyan concrete, cyan stained glass, cyan terracotta, cyan wool, nether brick walls and fences, polished basalt, smooth basalt, birch leaves, oak leaves, jungle leaves, and spruce leaves. So I was able to get the majority of the blocks from my storage system, which is is really nice because I don't have to go out and collect all those blocks. There were a couple of blocks that I didn't have quite enough of, and I'll need to go and collect them. So I need to get some quartz, some warped and crimson stems, and a little bit of mud. But I have farms for those, so collecting them should be pretty quick. So let's get some mud, trade for some quartz blocks, chop a few warped stems, then we need to switch over the blocks so we can start chopping down the crimson stems. And I think I finally have everything all collected up. You can see here the different blocks that we are going to be using, and we should be all ready to go. Let's get building. After 12 hours of building, the farm is finally finished. And it was totally worth the amount of time it took to build it and design it. And not only is the exterior all finished up, but I was able to do some fun things on the inside. And when we come inside, immediately you're going to see this room, which is the main room, and it has the storage that we'll be able to use to collect up all of the different items that is going to come through the farm. But up above the storage, we've got this waterway, which is what's going to transport all of the moss and different items into the chest. And the water comes all the way from over here, where you can see there is, whoa, as I was saying, this hole up above is where the items come out from the farm. So all of the moss will drop down into this water. It'll be carried over here to where the chests are, and then we'll be able to collect up the items there. And we will be getting a lot of moss from this farm. In the middle of the room, we've got this pillar here, and not only is it a nice bit of decoration, it also serves the function of being able to turn the farm on and off. And we've got the lever right here, which we can use to turn the farm on. And once the farm is on, we can go over to where it's going to drop down, and we should start to see some items coming through here any second. Now, there we go. So you can see it start to fall through, and then it'll be carried along in the water. And over here, it'll come out through the chest. And if we need to access the farm to make any changes to it, we can just fly up above. And we've got this little platform right here with a door that opens up over here to where the farm is. And you can see the farm working away down here. The farm is designed by RaiseWorks, and I've included a link in the description down below to his video. So if you want to build the farm, definitely check it out. But I think that is where we are going to leave it for today. We have made a lot of progress in getting that farm built up and finishing out the 4 corners of the city. But that will not be the last farm that we build here, as there are plenty of farms that can be built in Minecraft. But for now, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.